Hi everyone, it's Charity and welcome back to the podcast, the Raske podcast. I'm really honored you're here. I really mean it. It means the world that you're here tuning in, listening, watching, wherever you are in the world. And I would love to hear how you're doing today. How are you feeling? What is your plan, your vision you have for yourself in the remaining of 2025? If you feel you want to share that, please comment on the comment field below. I would love to connect with you. So I really am. I'm very curious what you have plans for the remaining months of this year, 2025. It's so really fast this year. So on today's podcast, I have a guest. It is such an honor to have her. Her name is Pia Møller, and she is your guide to your intuitive self-mastery. And she will share her wisdom, her experience, and her knowledge around self-mastery, and also how it is to gain clarity. And sometimes when you gain clarity, it becomes a bit tough because when you know your truth, how will you go and master yourself and your dreams and your visions? So I'm really honored to have conversation with Pia Møller. She's an amazing woman, a feminine energy. And yeah, I will leave her IG handle and links on the comment field below or on show notes for you to reach out to her. So yeah, so let's dive into the conversation. Oh, hello, Pia, and welcome to the Share the Rescue podcast. It's going to be so excited to interview you and for my audience to hear more about you. And of course, I want you to share a bit about you and your background a bit before we go deeper into your expertise and so forth. So who?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Charity, for having me. It's such an honor, and I'm very thrilled to be here and share my expertise and knowledge and wisdom with you and all your beautiful listeners. So, who I am, I'm a Danish woman, and I'm very intuitive and spiritual, and I'm a Capricorn sun, and I'm also in my ascendant horoscope. I am an Aquarius, and the Aquarius is the one that really loves to hang out at a bounty beach, relaxing and chilling and enjoying life. And that's really how I feel today. But my background story is very, very different. If you told me 5 years ago that I would be sitting here in my own place, having a freedom-based life, doing what I love and what is innate to me, I wouldn't have believed it because in my first life, ter- telling about, I was a CEO in my own wholesaling business. I started it when I was only 26, and it ended during the COVID in 22.
Mm.
And it actually ended with a bankruptcy, and it was my ticket to freedom. So I'm so grateful for that it finally ended because this wholesaling business, I really loved what I did. I was a designer and producer in the Far East, and I developed this high quality baby brand. I sold it in 15 countries in Europe. I had distributors. I was in fair every year in Germany. I was traveling and really loved to connect with these distributors and customers who loved my design. And it was such an honor for me to develop these high quality baby products. I really had a skill and vision for this, and I'm I'm really grateful and honored that I stopped my career at the top because I always envisioned this baby brand to be worldwide. And when I reached the 15 distributors and got contacted of so many well, well, well-known distributors in Europe, I could finally relax and let myself off the hook. And instead of judging myself uh, that it ended with a bankruptcy, I actually honored myself
Oh.
to be able to build this brand from the bottom up. And it started old house, and I had this storage in the garage, and I delivered the soft toys from my car driving around. Yeah, so this that was my old life, and I was so stressed, and I was so worked out and burned out. And when I had my third child, I told my husband that the pregnancy was actually also like a getaway from doing my CEO job. And he was just like, "Oh, can you say that?" And I was just like, "Yes, I can say that. I need a getaway. I want this child, but it's also a getaway. I need to connect with myself and have a breather."
This
So,
is so sorry. This is so interesting because I believe a lot of women. I mean, I don't think that men and women are getting pregnant to escape the work to work and so forth. But I believe if you live, I mean, we live in the northern part of Europe, and we have this privilege to be at home with our babies. So you get a long pause from work, and you get to find a way to reconnect to yourself. Like we have 9 months. What do you have in Denmark? Is it,
also 9 months.
yeah, you have the time to really reconnect with yourself. I can relate to your story because actually, also when I became a mother, I reconnect to myself. It was also during the pandemic time. But let's not talk about me. We're talking about you. And I just love that you shared your honesty of you saying that this is a way for you to get away from your high performance work.
Yeah, it was, and it was back in my last kid. I got him in 2018. And in 2017, the year before, I actually sold the half of my company. And it was the most horrible fusion of a company with another company. And that is my biggest learning in my whole life so far. It was because I didn't listen to my intuition.
Mm.
And I am sure of that we get these learnings throughout our lives so the universe can direct us onto our true path and give us these experiences so we learn, okay, this way I will never do that again because I really burned my fingers on that because I didn't listen. And I also really blamed myself for agreeing to this agreement with this other company, selling my the half of my company. And I experienced such horrible situation where my own lawyer and also the accountant was just like, okay, you don't have a choice. You should just be grateful that they even want to deal with you. And I was just like, what about my brand? I want something for my brand, some payment for the brand I built so far. And they were just like, no, you can't do that. You can't get anything for it. And I was just like, it felt so wrong. It felt so wrong that there was no credit for all the things that I built because being a visionary, being a creative, making things from scratch, that's not normal, easy, or common for other people. That's actually a superpower you have when you can envision a whole design and brand for yourself. So that was not the right place for me. But today I'm
What happened? What happened
so
after?
yeah, so today I'm at a whole other place in my life. I
Mhm.
feel like a whole new person. Actually, it's not like deceiving myself, but I can't feel the same emotions inside even no longer. I don't feel the same. I don't have the same triggers inside of me when I think of my past, and yeah, I don't have any regrets.
Wow. So, did this happen just automatically, or did you do some inner work for you to, like really settle with those past experiences?
Yeah, good question. I also asked myself this question because it was like, of course, not completely with a magic wand, but it felt a bit like that. I would say it was because during the last 2 years of my company, I was already so deep in my personal development work, not that spiritual yet. I didn't believe I had any guides, and now I know I have guides with my side because they give me
Interesting.
messages. But I was doing so much inner work, and I had this calling inside of me, and I tried different things, teaching people in making original design during COVID, and I knew that people, women like me, they were the one who I resonated with, not business women. I resonated with visionary women who really
Mm.
had great ideas and wanted to make some impact. So I also started to host retreats in Mallorca, Spain, before the bankruptcy. It was just around that. So there was a big pull in me. So when it went out, it stopped with the bankruptcy, I was finally free. And therefore, I didn't judge the process of the bankruptcy. I just had compassion with myself and saw it as a redirection in the right direction. Yeah.
So let's just tap into what do you mean about you resonating more with visionaries than business women? I'm just thinking of our audience who are just thinking, okay, what this should mean about that.
Yeah. Actually, I also was a business woman,
Mm,
and I thought that was my identity. Then I
mm,
realized it wasn't who I was. I'm uh, I'm very intuitive, I'm creative, I'm passionate, I'm speaking, I'm connecting, I see people's potential. And you don't have to be a businesswoman to do that. I'm just allowing myself to be me.
mm,
Oh, I sometimes have the feeling of when we are doing business, we are too much in our masculine, and then you
mm,
actually forget who you really are. And you allow the masculine side of you to dominate your world. And then it's not easy for women to connect with other women because you are so controlled of pulling it all together, managing your business, making sure that the sales are enough, that there's money enough for the suppliers, for the salary, for rent, for buying stock, all the expenses.
mm.
So you are disconnected with your feminine,
Yeah.
slow moving, intuitive side.
Mhm.
And it actually feels horrible, but you don't know while you're doing it, you don't know why you feel so disconnected and on the brink of, burnout.
Mm, mm. This is so beautiful. So, Pia, please share about your expertise. You were sharing that you had this three methods for you to gain clarity. Let's dive deep into that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, it's a bit funny story because this
Mm,
method is very young. I only discovered it in 2024,
mhm,
and it was when I just moved to my own place. I had this beautiful birthday party with my soul-aligned girlfriends who are really attracted into my life. And they all gave me these birthday cards. I had wished for my birthday to have great experiences with them. Go for a walk, go to eat brunch, and have a deep conversation instead of having physical gifts. And on these birthday cards, these women, they all wrote the same. Hi, Pia. Congrats with your birthday. Thank you for always being an inspiration, being so brave, and always standing up and continuing on again. You're such an inspiration for me. And I was just like, oh, say what? This is like a coincidence. They all use the same words.
mhm.
And then some months later, I looked at the birthday cards and I was just like, what is it that I do that makes these women describe me in with these words?
Mm,
And that really made me think. And then I figured out that there's three things I did and I still do
yeah.
to completely turn my life around from being this hardworking, burned out
Mhm,
businesswoman to be uh, a guide who guides women to create their soul-aligned life and unfold their calling by connecting with their intuition. So the clarity method contains a free steps, and I really want to share the steps with you and your listeners because knowing these steps is truly life-changing.
Yeah, let's hear that, Pia. So excited
Yeah.
to hear this.
Okay, so the first step is that you are experiencing this situation in your life,
Mhm.
and especially also in business, you can really be pushed up in the corner and you're like, oh my God, how do I even handle this situation? And oftentimes in business, it's really stressful. You are in a hurry because there's a deadline and people they need an answer now. So I have a mantra that says, don't be pushed by your problems, be led by your dreams. And this mantra, you can put it on your whiteboard. And every time I was experiencing any troubles in my business, I looked at this on my whiteboard and it really helped me. So, this situation you are experiencing in your life right now, just imagine, what do you want to do with this situation and how do you want to handle it? So, do you want to turn out the fire, extinguish the fire with this like quick fix? Or do you really want to make a decision that moves you forward towards your dream?
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the first point of the clarity method.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea of
Mm.
that you need to make a decision in what direction you're going to move. And the next one is using your intuition. So, in this scenario in your life, what does your inner knowing say about it? To
Mm.
be honest and connect with your heart and your stomach.
Yeah, and this
What
is the
is it?
feminine energy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is the feminine energy. And we women in these ages and in the Western world, we are so disconnected with the feminine energy. And there's reasons too why we're disconnected. It's because we're brought up in systems that people decide for us, our parents, the teachers, the system, everybody decides for you. So we say that we have like our right to vote and opinions, but the system is made to be very efficient.
Mm.
And they really like you to be efficient and do your education and have a great job and all this. Yeah, so your inner knowing, what does it really say? And then the intuition can play some tricks on you because you can be in doubt. Is this my intuition speaking? Is it my ego speaking? Or
Mm.
is it my fear speaking?
Let's
And
dive into that.
yeah,
What's the difference between intuition, ego, and fear?
yeah. So I would say the intuition is always here to help you. It's not judging.
Mm.
And moving to the third and really crucial part. So the third part is about your energy, and this determines all for you. This will give you the true answer you can rely on. So the energy, this scenario you are experiencing in your life right now, where is it that you feel depleted? In what scenario? Where? With whom? And where do you feel expanded,
Mm.
energized?
Mm.
Yeah. So it's actually, you can actually move to the left and feel, okay, how does it feel to be in this scenario?
Wow.
Okay. And then you can move to the right and then you can fill in, yeah, what about this scenario? Perhaps that's the new scenario for you, making a new kind of choice, choosing yourself.
I love this because you're not saying to think more than to feel with your body, to use your whole self to make decision, also to feel into if it is intuition or ego or fear. Would you say that ego and fear are the same?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because the ego is more like, I want a career. I want the materialistic things. I want to be known and recognized. I want to be acknowledged. That could be the ego because you really have a longing deep inside of you to feel that you are enough, that you and therefore you want to be successful and being acknowledged because you were never acknowledged like as a kid as who you really were. You were only acknowledged when you were performing in school,
Mm.
performing in education, performing at your job. Um, and the fear is keeping you safe. The fear is in your comfort zone. It's really doing a great job. You must, admit that the fear is doing the best they can. It's actually one of the strongest, emotional defense we have.
Yeah, protector.
It's a survival mechanism.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so this method, the clarity method, these 3 steps with the mantra, the intuition, and in the end the energy, it really, really uh makes you give you clarity and make sure that you align with your true path, because your true path is always what's uh making your life better.
yeah. So
Yeah.
cool. So as you were saying that there's three methods of getting clarity can make you see the truth. You also have another ways to handle the truth. And when you see the truth, and as our profession, being professional coach and so forth, that when you see the truth, you don't know how to handle the truth. I'm thinking about the movie now, but it's not that type of truth, but your own truth. So share a bit more about how to handle the truth when you discover your truth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a tough one because when you discover your truth, there's a lot of things going on inside of you. You can really feel how your nervous system is reacting to this answer that you get through the clarity method. And this is not to scare anyone off. It's just to tell you that it's totally normal that your body is reacting on this truth, because your mind is starting to explaining and saying, oh, I can't do that.
Mm,
And your body is also feeling some perhaps anxiety because it thinks, okay, if I have to take this step, it means that it feels uncomfortable.
yes.
And I'm scared of doing these things. So what you should do with this truth you are having in your awareness is that it's essential for you that you are not judging the answer for being right or wrong. You need to have compassion with this truth you are having in your awareness right now.
Mm,
Um, so, what I did myself is that when I found out my truth, I um, I moved. I moved from my husband, and I did that because um, I found out in the method that my energy was expanded another place, and staying at my husband's our home with our 3 kids, I felt depleted. I felt anxious. I had a tendency to drink a bit of rosé just to calm my nerves. I was always in this fight or flight, in this
visual.
being the mediator in the family. And this is like a pattern from my childhood because I grew up with a narcissistic mom. So
Okay.
she made the silent treatment on me,
Mm,
and that made my system just like trigger when I was around 10 years old, and I still have this inner unease.
mm,
So when I realized that it was not healthy for either me or my children, I decided to move. And now it has been 18 months, and I never felt as good as I'm doing now. I'm really thriving, and my kids are also, and I'm still together with my husband.
This
So
is
this is like totally inspiring for other people. When I meet other people and I tell them the story, they're just like, say what? So, oh, I don't really get it. Okay, are you together with your husband, but you don't live together? Oh, yes, I say. It's called Cola. It's a couple living apart. And I'm so proud of myself because my husband also had a lot of resistance to dare to just leap outside of the box.
what
What's
the
normal.
norm, the norm of, yeah, husband and wife to live together. And this is also normal when I think when you are in your around your 60s or 70s, a lot of couples that are in their 80s, 70s or 80s, they also live separately, but they are still together. So this is very brave of you to take this decision to honoring your energy and to also honor your children so that they can have a healthy mother. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. So, as you discover your truth and how to handle your truth, so how do you take action around this? You shared about how to take action when you found out your clarity, truth, and taking action is also key for you to move forward with your vision and dreams.
Yeah, because when I found the truth and I felt the energy that it was depleting me,
Mm.
that was there. You don't. I shouldn't judge it, but I was so freaking scared because in my mind I was thinking, okay, if I move, will I be the home breaker? And if I move, how can I move when I'm not self-sufficient? Because you remember I told of the bankruptcy of my
Yeah,
company.
yeah, yeah.
And you and I, we know each other from our coaching education from the US.
Mm.
And so while I took this education, I lived with my husband. I didn't have an income, and I paid, or he paid actually, for this education. So for that, I'm very grateful. So even though I wasn't self-sufficient, I needed to make an action plan right now because I was not thriving, and my daughter, on the time 10 years old, she was also developing trouble with eating. It's like having some eating disorder, and so I took action, and I got social benefits. So I moved out to the 1st of January 2024 and I got social benefits. And it was not a pleasant ride. And I got out of it again and did all that I could to have enough money to pay my rent. And my husband, he helped with the groceries. But to do this, it's so powerful because you honor yourself,
Mm.
you honor what's true for you, and you also honor that you need another space to heal in. It's not possible to heal in the same space where the action has been made, where the uncomfortable situations have been, and where when you're stepping into this house, your anxiety is just like blowing up every time, feeling this unease in my body.
Mm.
So when I'm at my own home, I feel such a pleasant inner tranquility.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's the best. So you can do it even though you think, and the point is that this self fear judgment I had in my mind of being the home breaker, but my home was already broken. It was not the action of me moving out that made our family, damaged. It was already severely damaged from what has went. And to just add on, it's we have really had trouble with our kids, especially our oldest, because he just got diagnosed this year for both ADHD and Asperger. like autism. So that's the reason why there has been so much turmoil in our household. Yeah. And the other fear of me not being safe, it was actually it was a goal for me to be self-sufficient,
Mm.
but it was also something that kept me back from moving because I knew that I wasn't self-sufficient. So it kept me stuck. So I had to break out of this being self-sufficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what action do you take to become self-sufficient?
Yeah, I have actually just sit at my office for the last 2 months straight and worked on this clarity method. And I'm so proud of being able to do this.
Mm.
But what I would say to your listener is that it's actually not possible to make a sustainable business if you have things inside of you that needs healing.
Mm.
Because my aim was to be self-sufficient right when I moved out 18 months ago. But it wasn't possible for me because I had so much healing to do. So I had to just surrender
Mm.
and lay back. And that's also what has shown me that in the feminine way, when you honor yourself, your needs, what what you need, both physical and mentally and spiritual, but also give yourself some credit for what you consist of.
Mm.
Instead of telling, I had this business, I'm a mom of three, I also have a husband and a house and a nice car and a dog. I was just like switching my identity around and honoring myself. Okay, I'm an intuitive, I'm a creative, I'm a visionary. Finding all these things that actually describes who you are as a soul being
Yeah.
instead of the material things.
Yeah.
It's because we are all a mom. We all are self-dependent. We have our own business. We all, that's not who we are. We align or connect with women who identify with the same hurts and sorrows and desires. That's where we connect.
Yeah, I love this because I think the society we live in, we are so we're trained to always think about the materialism and connecting us to the materialism, our degree, our where we live, and so forth, and we forget to tap into who we are. We are connecting ourselves to what we do. So what you're saying is that we're not what we do, so that we can go back to who we are. So when we go back to who we are, then we know what to do. So that it is like it is integrated actually. So it is so important to find out who you are so that you know what to do in life and not to identify the external more than to find out who you are internally.
Yeah,
So I love how,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it sounds so beautiful when you just like summarize it in how you perceive it when I speak it. It's so beautiful. So thank you very much for that. So what I really want to just give back to your listeners is why why they are holding themselves back instead of taking the actions I have done.
and
Uh,
women particularly.
Yeah, especially women. Of course, also men, but I work with women. I connect with the feminine and women. Uh, so what I experienced myself in my own healing journey, and that is really the true key to being able to create the life you desire,
Mm,
both your business and with yourself and with your family. It's going through this healing journey. But I also say you can't, it's much faster to go through the healing journey when you have clarity, because when you have clarity, um, what's going on and what lights you up and on what direction on my path should I move on? Because if you keep in the same environment where these things has happened, or you still get triggered, you will move further, but very slow, not that far. And that's why you can really take these quantum jumps, these leaping, when you finally take action. Because when we are honest with ourselves, the most people, they don't take action, and they definitely don't take action out of their comfort zone. So if you imagine a normal person suddenly take action and it's out of their comfort zone, it really feels like a leap. It really feels like a leap, because you can aspire to your next level, evolve to your next level, because you show the universe, I'm important, I'm enough, I choose myself. That's what I did when I chose myself to get my own place. And I must say it wasn't easy. I think I spent around 2 years in being in this dilemma before I took action. But what is holding us all back from taking this bold action is our subconscious.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about that, the subconscious.
Yeah, it's really helpful when you know about the subconscious. And most people, they don't know about the subconscious. They are just wondering, why am I still, repeating my patterns and going around in circles and not reaching what I really desire and aim for here in life. And I have a really I can say funny example of the subconscious, because I know in my heritage of women, we have a pattern of always arriving late. you know
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um and my mom, she does it, and I does it, and my twin sister does it, and I also have a daughter on 12, and she also does it. So
Wow.
in the morning, when she have to go with her bike to school, she always need to do something extra, go to the bathroom, or she went on her bike and then she's coming back and picking something up, and we have this pattern of always being late.
Okay.
So I have really worked through this to break this pattern and not being late. But I'm also convinced that there's something in our subconscious
Mm.
inherited through generation that has made that perhaps 100 years ago, or around that, something happened with the women in my generations that made them believe that because they came in time, something bad happened.
Mhm.
Something really bad happened, and then we got this subconscious belief. Oh, it's actually dangerous. Perhaps it's life threatening to be in time, and that can explains why you have this pattern and you can't really break it. And every time you are going out of the door into your car, there's also always something happening, so you
Yeah.
just don't make it right in time. So your subconscious is made to holding you safe from something. And um
Mhm.
it's doing this because it wants to prevent you from reliving a situation that was dangerous. Yeah.
Yes.
And
It's
it's
protecting you.
preventing you from sorry.
It is protecting you in a way, in a sense.
Yeah, it's protecting you. And this was just like a funny example.
Mm.
But I also have it with, a subconscious block that is blocking me from speaking my truth.
Mhm.
Here it's fine and okay and safe for me. But for example, I speak very often on Instagram stories, and I speak a lot of how I do life and so forth. Um, but I never really share about the deeper knowledge that I have. And I experienced in meditation that I had this vision of Second World War, and people are getting detained, and they got this pill. And my granddad, he was also a freedom fighter. And the freedom fighters in Second World War, they got this pill, and they were told they had to take this deathly pill if they got caught by the Nazis, because the Nazis would torture them to death and would have them to, tell them about where people were hiding. So I got this vision not long ago, and I was just like, okay, I really know that this fear of speaking my truth, it's not my fear. It's a inherited
Wow, this is
fear.
very
So that's just to tell how strong this subconscious block can be in you. So it's really protecting you from scenarios that could look alike
mm,
something from your experience from your childhood and em emotional triggers that could trigger this. This is often the feeling of that you're really afraid of experiencing this same feeling of being abandoned.
yeah.
That's a lot of people have this abandonment wound
Mm,
that they feel that they were abandoned by a parent or a caretaker. You can also feel that you are less than, you are not worthy, you are not enough,
mm,
or you don't feel important. For example, my dad, he worked a lot. He was self-employed, and I did a meditation, and I found out that the word was not important. And I didn't realize that because I had a okay childhood and I was taken care of, but my subconscious interpreted it as that, okay, then I must not be important when he chooses not to come home from
yeah.
work. So, and a final thing that you are trying to avoid is that perhaps when you were a child, you could be made wrong for being you, for speaking up, for giggling, for having fun, for doing things, or you could be falsely accused of something,
Mm,
for have broken something um, you did do or you didn't do intentionally, and you feel this really heaviness of shame and being blamed, and therefore this this is the true root cause for why you are not taking these action steps.
yeah, as to you mean saying that the subconscious mind is very open when we are children, and then we grow up, we still have those limited beliefs within us when we are adult, and we carry the old baggage with us, and then you don't know the reason why you can't take, yeah, for instance, like you said, you can't come on time. There's something that is making you always not come in time because of the pattern that you shaped when you grow up as a child, for instance. Yeah, this is so beautiful and so deep. And like you said, not everyone knows about the subconscious mind. And people are asking, what is subconscious mind? But we are actually like 95% subconscious mind and 5% conscious mind. So we are very emotional beings. We feel into things more than we know. And as children, they have this ability, but then we learn not to use this emotional body when we become adults. We always use our head. So it's so beautiful how you explain what subconscious mind is, and what you're trying to say is that we should integrate the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and also work within yourself to understand the reason, the root cause of why you don't feel like you can move forward in your life.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's also why, especially during the COVID, you saw so many business courses and also spiritual courses. This is the strategy. This is the way to do it. You need this formula. And people are just like jumping in because of all this online work and courses. And it was so accessible and easy. And I also think it was amazing. But a lot of these people who actually educated in this, they were not aligned themselves. So they were moving from their masculine side. And then afterwards, I have seen so many business women, confess that was not truly aligned with them. They were just like forcing it through, and then they were educating other women in this forceful method,
The
being in the
masculine
masculine,
energy again.
because that is what we have. Yeah, that is what we have learned from this system, being
Mm,
in performance instead of, as you just said, going into the body, listen, what is my truth? What is true and nourishing for me?
Mm,
What path should I choose then, instead of always, yeah, but the system says, or the society says that this is the path. For
mm,
example, in Denmark, some years ago, they made this new rule that when people are taking a bachelor degree, and if they are not finishing it, and they're just like, okay, I don't want to study finances, I want to study graphic design, but it's still a bachelor degree, then they can't change into another bachelor degree, because they want the students to be really quick students and finish, within the 2 or 3 years, instead of changing through choices of educations. And that is a typical example of how we are controlled to not we cannot just choose ourselves, because the system limits us. So actually, the young people, they got really stressed, they got anxiety and fearful, because then was just like, oh my God, I have to make the right choice at first,
mm,
because I know it's not allowed for me to change from one bachelor education to another bachelor education. And that created anxiety amongst the students. So I'm very grateful that I'm a bit older than that, and I didn't have that rule back then. But it's actually the wrong development of our educational system,
mm.
because we found out now that we have to be in the feminine and listen to our body and our inner knowing. So we have to go out and make a change again in the society. And I know that there's a lot of change makers and light workers out there, that the whole system is going to fall apart within, the next few years. And then there's a need for all these amazing women like you and me to reshape and rebuild society. So it's, as I say, it's human sustainable. It's sustainable to be human in, instead of an efficient society we have right now.
Mm.
Yeah. So that was it for me, I think.
Pia, this is so beautiful, and I love this conversation so much. And I want you to share where our audience can, or listeners can find you. Please share your details so that they can find you and find and work with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on, Charity. It was an absolute pleasure to share my knowledge with you and your listeners. And you can find me on Instagram at Rising Female Changemakers, and that it is in one word.
Mm.
And I actually just changed my profile not so long ago to this, and I have written it in my notes for the last 4 years, Rising Female Changemakers, because that is who you are, who I am, and who all the beautiful women that I connect with are. That's Rising Female Changemakers. So thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pia. You're wonderful. We're so grateful that you're here tuning in. And yeah, and so grateful that you were here and we had this conversation and sharing your 3 methods of clarity, how to, handle it when you find the truth and take action, and also understanding the reason why you're holding yourself back so that you can move forward in your life. Yeah, so thank you so much, Pia. Such an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation like I did, and her story, Pia's story, resonated with you. Such a wonderful woman and such a courageous, great woman of finding her truth and wanting to also share her experience in coaching you. So I truly believe that coaches that has this experience of life, that they are the best coaches because they have worked on themselves and have also mastered their life in order for them to also share and guide you who wants to receive guidance. So like I said in the beginning, I will leave her IG handle and also her links for you to reach out to her. And if you enjoy this conversation and enjoy this episode and also love this podcast, the cost-free way for you to support this podcast is for you to comment, rate, share, subscribe, all the good things you have to do to this podcast to grow. So if you're listening on podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, follow me to not miss any other updates and upcoming episode. And also if you are watching on YouTube, subscribe for you to stay tuned for the next episode. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. You take care, and we see you soon on the next episode. Bye.